really not sure how to feel. And if I am real, but even the life I live and its coexistence with the greater serenity of reality, there are just so many joys that encapsulate us with all the pitfalls. There are many pitfalls, and there are many joys. There are many ways you can squander your joy. I think squandering is at merit of bad influence, and bad influence has really taken control. It's become over encompassing, where one man cannot focus upon feeding himself. One man cannot focus upon walling up shelter. One cannot think about his appearance. One cannot think about what he wears. He doesn't have the money to spend on clothes. Man, you just think about the bare necessities in life. And when we have them and when we don't have them, especially, there are many times I wish I had used money for a better purpose than just instant gratification of wanting my tummy filled. And maybe the bitter cold and not having access to a vehicle makes it all the more difficult. You go to the closest place to you, or you order online and get it delivered, and that also costs extra, which is the cycle of non-return and petty spending. The money which we need to use to invest in ourselves is gone before we have the chance to invest wisely. It is tough. Not everyone has the same life, and my life is probably a lot different to people who have things taken for granted and whatnot. I'm just happy to be me. I'm happy to have the things I need. Happy to have a roof over my head and at the bare minimum a heated house. To have peace. Not to be pushed to your limit and to have your potential squandered. At least with my time, I have managed to make a lot. It's a treasure trove of knowledge. It's a treasure trove of talent and works which man can see later in the eons and generations, though it is not for me. A lot of the things I've made will not be seen probably for a very, very long time. And even if I do put them out there, it'll probably be very, very few people seeing them. I feel as obscure as the least pragmatic entity. I feel as if a sand grain buried amongst thousands of sand grains on a beach, not even on the bare surface of the beach, you know? You feel insignificant, like you're one drop in that huge ocean, and you feel about as deep as possible. You don't know if you're above or below. You're not close to the sun, but maybe you are on the surface, very close to the sun, but it's a very thin film as opposed to that large pool. And it's more likely you're going to be in the center or at the bottom of a pool or touching the walls than you are the surface. Time passes really quickly. And in this span of one breath, I see 10 seconds pass. I would be able to go on for a long time, a while, and I wouldn't think that much time would pass because I'd speak very quickly and infrequently. I'm drowned by head fog and fatigue. I'm drowned by an inability to consume the things I want to consume, or the things I need to consume, so that way I would have the best energy, the best nutrition, nourishment. I don't want to take the things that would hurt me. I do not want to eat the things that would later contribute to pain. And sometimes you just gotta eat what was available and what's on the table or in the cupboards. Not always are you gonna have the extra spending money to go out and buy food. And that's often why we take things for granted, and the cycles of spending and ordering food and then later not having enough money to get food. It really is non appropriate to have your investments, your work be arbitrary in the form of spending and bills and having to meet up with payments, and to provide yourself with living often means having no living at all. It is really terrible, and you can't really do anything with what you have. You can go away and immigrate to another country if your country's not supplying you with the needs and living. And other people who are immigrating here are actually leaving because the support of living is not possible. You have the normal job. You cannot own a house. You cannot own a car with the normal pay, with a normal wage, and that's an economic instability. Those who do have homes here are real estaters or people, foreigners who don't own their living, like they live elsewhere and they just resell at a higher value. We're at whims. The people who live here cannot afford to live here, and it's likely through intergenerational things like their parents or grandparents where they actually do inherit things. The times are being mended, and we are being mended as well with it. It's really sad. I don't want to watch YouTube videos. I don't want to be bothered by the existential perils of, quote, doom scrolling and being fed through an algorithm of content that was geared for you and your perspective. A lot of times it's through trending stuff. It's whatever's trending, you get part of the same fill as everybody else. And you gotta really wonder if some content was really geared towards you. It's not that popular, it's not that trending, but because you have certain like fixations or you've been like searching stuff, you probably see it more often, especially with like robots, cooking, planting, etc. There's tons of things that would really appeal to specific individuals but not cater to the whole, and I think that's really special to think that someone out there is looking out for us, but at the same time it's really creepy because they see us from an existential point of, oh yeah, you're this combination of exerted inputs, and through those exerted inputs we will entirely fulfill that perspective of you and what we see you as. Because I don't think you're just the person of the digital realm, you're the person of the physical realm. And that also isn't guaranteed to be your, like true perceivance. I mean, like, robots haven't really been able to read your mind yet. But that would be very scary if they would. Especially for the AI algorithm, which feeds you content. I mean, if your friends were to read your mind, I mean, there can be some reassurance in that. But at the same time, there's lack of reassurance. You couldn't hide everything from them. And they'd have a gist. They have a general notion of things that are happening, not happening. I don't think talking or yapping is, quote, attractive to people. It depends on the context of what you're talking of and about, and if it relates to them, or if it's knowledge applicable within that circumstance, because not all knowledge is applicable. You could say that. You can have a lot of redundant knowledge that you can't really put to good use. I mean, that's entertainment. It's virtual pastures. It's like, this is really dumb stuff that really makes me happy, but like not really appropriate for any productive or professional use. I think that's why we're educating ourselves poorly. We're heading ourselves off a cliff because we're not really sure of what we're doing and what we're supplying for ourselves mentally, not just physically, with good nutrition and that. I don't know if I can post this to YouTube, but that'd be really cool. Anyways, I'm gonna stop here. Don't want to. Talking was nice. It was very therapeutic.